my goodness.
Indeed. Welcome to Stargazing, a Stargate gazing podcast. I'm your host, Mary.
And I'm your other host, Kathy.
And each week we review an episode of Stargate alternating between SG1 and Atlantis. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going all right. How is it going with you?
Okay.
How's life?
Okay. It's my last day of spring break and I don't want to go back to work. So I'm mildly grumpy, but aside from that, things are fine.
Okay. Yeah.
I liked not working.
Yeah, me too. I
didn't go anywhere, just didn't do anything, and it was nice.
Very nice. Yeah. I did go to work last week, and it was okay, but I would much prefer not to go to work.
Were students on break at your school? I think that they already had their break, if I remember right. No?
It was ongoing. It's 2 weeks, so It's been a very long, quiet, boring 2 weeks at work.
I imagine not a lot really happens.
No. And I often end up taking time off during this time, but I just didn't this year, so.
Yeah, we will often go somewhere, but it didn't end up happening this year either.
Womp womp.
Indeed. So, yeah, I don't have much to talk about because I've just been reading stuff, watching some TV.
Very
That's about
nice.
It.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much going on either, so. Shall we just talk about the episode then?
Sure. What is this episode?
This is Stargate SG1 Season 10, Episode 19, second to last episode called Dominion.
I have never seen a founder.
Indeed.
Yes.
The episode starts with a recap. There's a car flipping around on the road. That's not how cars are supposed to work. Athena wants a code for an ancient tablet from Vala. Daniel was a prior, and they have a device that neutralized Adria's power and let him take her out using his prior powers, but why it worked against her powers and not his, I do not remember. And then they all beamed off her ship, leaving unconscious Adria behind as her prior ship went through the space gate. End recap.
Yay. I like that we continue to talk about this MacGuffin that we will never see.
Yeah. Yep. Indeed. But here we are, trying to rapidly wrap things up.
Yes.
Suddenly.
I think I did read they knew they were getting movies, so that might be why things are a little bit more open-ended than they might otherwise have been.
The end of this episode, I was like, they're leaving this open as though they want to cover this in the movie.
Yeah, so I think they had an inkling that they were going to be able to do that at least.
Fair.
Or maybe I'm making that up. You'll never know.
We will never know. Yeah. Even though we're going to cover the movies, we'll still never know what the movies are about.
Right, exactly. We're in a bar on a random planet. Vala is playing some sort of card/tile game. They looked more like tiles than cards, but it had the feel of a card game. She's wagering. Wagering? Yeah, that's a word. Yeah.
That is a word.
Yes.
That is the appropriate word.
Yes. She is making some high-stakes wagers. She wants a ship, so she's going to give them not only the stuff she's already put in the pot, but she has one of those Sodan cloaking devices on her arm that she demonstrates for them and then says that she will throw that in too. Is that more valuable than a ship?
I guess it depends on,
I suppose,
what kind of thief you
true,
are.
Very true.
How much treasure you think you can steal using it, in which case you might be able to steal enough treasure to buy a new ship or a fleet of ships.
Oh, yeah. They play their game, and Vala's like, woohoo, I won! Yay! Unfortunately for her, though, no one believes she actually won for real, and they all pull guns on her. And they search her and find hidden tiles in her clothing.
Shocking.
Oops. So things don't look good for Vala, but then suddenly Adria appears.
Surprise, motherfucker!
And knocks all those guns out of the people's hands, saving Vala. And she tells Vala it's good to see her, and it's been too long. Credits.
Credits.
I did like the overhead shot this episode started with of the table and them. It was nice. I don't know.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Vala is surprised to see Adria. She says she didn't expect to ever see her again. One of the random guys that she was gambling against asks who this is, and Vala says that you really don't want to know. He signals for everybody to attack Adria, but of course that doesn't go well, and she takes all of them out with her special Adria powers. So now everybody's unconscious, and the only two people left are Vala and Adria. Adria tells Vala that the attempt to destroy the Ori was unsuccessful. Vala's skeptical about that, but Adria says she's been supervising the construction of dozens more ships, and they're just going to keep expanding their empire, and it's going to be great. The entire galaxy is going to be converted in months, and maybe now it's finally time for Vala to take her place as the mother of the Orisai. It's going to be great. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers.
Perfect plan.
Yeah, no notes. Adria wants to know where all of her SG friends are, but Vala looks sad and doesn't really want to talk about that. But Adria says she really must know. And so we get a flashback. Adria uses her special powers because Vala's not wanting to talk. And in that flashback, we see Daniel writing in a notebook. Vala comes in. They're in his office, and she's got it figured out. She knows where the Clava Thesaura Infinitus is. I don't remember why they're looking for that. Is that the tablet thingy?
That's that thing that we're never going to see that Athena keeps talking about.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I couldn't remember if that was the name of it or if this was just some other MacGuffin thing that they made up.
Nope, they still got one running around, so they're going to use that one.
All right, fair enough. So she knows where it is. A little bit later, we're in the briefing room, and she is giving a presentation with Daniel on a large screen. They have a picture of a little circle thing that almost looks like a coin. And apparently Vala has had some sort of a dream where an infinity symbol was overlaying this circle thing, and it overlapped exactly 6 symbols on the thing. Mitchell has the same question that I did, which is, how do you know that that's the correct orientation? Because if you rotate this at any angle, it will overlap any other 6 as well. But Vala says that this was the orientation that was in her dream, so she knows that this is the right one. Teal'c is the one that points out that Adria has sent her information in dreams before, so how do we know that this isn't it again? But Vala is sure that this is her own brain coming up with this idea this time. Sam points out that maybe if it was some latent memory that Katesh had during the 5 minutes that Vala was Katesh, then maybe this is that latent memory coming up somehow through Vala's dreams. So they're going to go check it out.
Then we're out of the flashback, and Adria says, I didn't do that. And Vala's like, yes, I know. I tried to tell them. They didn't believe me. Back to flashback. We're in the gate room. Alarms are sounding. Landry reports to Daniel and Vala that SG3 and 8 are coming in hot. So they gotta open the iris. Teams run in to escape the firing that is happening on the other planet, the blasts. Nobody gets shot on the way in, which is good. Reynolds comes through the gate and tells them to shut the gate down right now. They're right on their tail, so they shut the gate down. Landry orders medical teams to the gate room and heads on down to ask what the hell happened. Reynolds says they were ambushed by Ori soldiers. Oops.
Whoops.
He lost 2 men, which sucks. Vala's like, that can't be, what? And Reynolds gets all mad at her and is like, tell that to the men who died.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Landry orders Reynolds to debrief in his office, and then we get out of the flashback. Vala says she was very certain she was right, though, and she couldn't leave it alone, and she had another dream, and then we're back in a flashback where she's showing them the same circle with the symbol overlaid in a different orientation, just like Mitchell mentioned in the last scene. So she's sure that probably this time it'll be fine. It's gonna work. But everyone is like, no, I don't think so. Vala says they need to investigate, and they just will not. They refuse. They think she is being manipulated by Adria. Sam's like, you're just gonna have another dream where the symbols are on a different angle, and it'll be the same thing over and over. You're just being used by your evil daughter. Vala insists that's not what's happening, but she says things just get worse from there. Her voiceover, not in the flashback. And the worst thing is that the IOA thinks she's compromised, and they don't want her working with the SGC anymore, and they can't let her go, so they want to send her to Area 51, I think, to be imprisoned. Maybe she can hang out with that very hungry Goa'uld, who's probably still living in their prison. He didn't die. Did he die? No, he escaped, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the guy who got mashed potatoes on the outside of the bars of his cell. I don't remember if he escaped.
Actually, I think he escaped and got back with Ball, and then Ball killed him?
That sounds familiar.
I think so. So she'll just be all alone in Area 51.
Yeah. I think you might be right. Back in the pub now, no longer in the flashback, Vala says that she can see that Adria doesn't believe her either. And Adria says that Vala can't hide from her because she can read Vala's mind, again, as we already knew. Adria wants to know how she convinced everybody on Earth to let her go. But of course, she didn't. So we get another flashback of Vala escaping this time. They had locked her in, but of course locks don't hold Vala, which we already knew, and she takes a Sodan cloaking device, manages to get the gate open, and invisibly gets herself off base, because security on the base is very bad, apparently.
Shock.
Adria, when we're back in the pub again, asks what Vala plans to do now, and Vala says she just won herself a cargo ship, and so now she's at least got a way of traveling. But Adria still thinks that Vala should stop being on the run all the time and come with her to, once again, as we've already heard her trying to convince Vala to do several times, take her place as the mother of the Orsai. But Vala says at this point that she's not Adria's mother. She gave birth to her, but they're not family, so knock it off. Stop pretending we are not family. But Adria is convinced that Vala just needs more time to think about it, and they'll talk about it further on their way to find the Clava Thesaura Infinitus. Vala is surprised that Adria thinks it's real, but Adria says that she thinks that Sam was right, that Vala's knowledge from when she was a Goa'uld probably dredged up something in her unconscious, so yeah, let's go find it. But then Adria realizes that there's still something that Vala hasn't told her. Vala pretends to not know what she's talking about, but of course, once again, Adria can read her mind anyway. And that thing that Vala was trying to hide from her apparently is that SG1 was worried that there might be an ambush when they tried to go and find the tablet thingy. So instead of taking a gate there, they're taking a slow ship, which doesn't make a ton of sense, but that's what they've decided to do. During all those ambushes, would they not have sent a Malp through?
You would think so, but maybe the people were hiding until the Malp was like, everything's fine, come on through. And then they jump out of the bushes. So. Wow. You can't see it, but I'm making like claw hands while I'm doing that.
Of course.
Peekaboo.
So they're going to take a Stargate to try to beat SG1 to this planet.
Woo woo. And they go through the Stargate and they find SG1 waiting for them. And Mitchell's like, hi. Adria tries to mind fling them around and steal their guns or whatever she was going to do, but she finds she can't, so they have brought their fun doohickey that suppresses her powers. Adria looks at Vala, and Vala is like, I don't know what's going on. And Daniel tells her, it's all part of the plan, don't worry, Vala. And Vala is very angry about him. She says, never speak to me again. But before they can take Adria anywhere, a bunch of Jaffa beam in, take her, and then beam the hell out of there, letting them know, this is Ball doing this. You're welcome.
Couldn't wrap up the series without Ball.
And Daniel says that wasn't part of the plan. Oops.
Whoops.
Then we're in Ball's ship. Ball welcomes Adria. He has also got an Adria power suppressing device somewhere, so she cannot do anything. And we have a classic cage in the middle of a room that only has a bench in it and nothing else. Hopefully Adria doesn't need to pee. She doesn't have anywhere to do that.
It's true. Do they have to pee?
I don't know. Isn't she like part human?
Do Ori do Ori or Goa'uld ever need to use the bathroom? Who knows?
That's a good question. Is that something the hagfish fix when they're inside you, is you don't have to expel waste anymore?
I don't
Do you
know.
need to eat? Like, I know
Unknowable.
they like to eat.
Bacchus guy likes to
Yeah.
eat,
But does he need to?
but does he have to eat?
We'll never know.
Nope, we will not.
Adria warns Ball this cell will not hold her forever. And Ball laughs and is like, yes, of course. But that won't be a problem after I'm done with you. Very menacing. Oh, Ball.
Back in the SGC, in the gate room, Landry, Mitchell, and Teal'c are heading out of the gate room, actually. Mitchell is telling Landry that they got surprised by the Jaffa. They got the jump on them and had no time to react. Landry wants to know how Ball pulled this off, but of course nobody knows. And how Ball's Jaffa had detailed intelligence and knew to expect them. Nobody knows that either. And Mitchell says the bigger question is, what does Ball want with Adria? Teal'c thinks that maybe he intends to negotiate for shared control of the galaxy. That could be fun. But Landry says that he doesn't think Adria seems like the sharing type, so probably that's not going to get him anywhere.
Only child problem. No, I'm just...
Right?
I'm kidding. I know many only children who know how to share.
Mitchell, though, does point out that they don't want the two of them hanging out together because nothing good can come of Ball and Adria being in the same place. So they're going to have to try to figure out a way to get her back. Landry asks how Vala is doing, and Mitchell says that she's angry. Landry asks if someone's going to fill her in, and Mitchell says absolutely, but not us, meaning him and Teal'c. And they just walk away.
Then we're in another room with Sam and Daniel and Vala. They've got a TV with them.
I spit on your corpse, advertiser-supported television.
Vala is angry. She says she escaped them fair and square, and bringing her back is kidnapping. And Daniel says, but this was the plan. You need to listen to us. She does not want to listen to them, though. She says she was betrayed and abandoned by the only people in the entire galaxy she thought were her friends. But Sam assures her they are her friends, and they did not betray her. And it turns out she used a memory device to implant those false memories of her friends abandoning and betraying her. Which I was glad to see, because I was like, what is this bullshit that's happening at the beginning of this episode?
I figured that it couldn't possibly be real, and I actually just assumed that she was lying about it and somehow lying convincingly enough. Like, I thought they'd figured out a way for her to be able to lie to Adria.
Yeah, I was just... But then she kept going, and I was like, what is going on? We've spent so many episodes this season making her part of the team.
Yeah, that would have been really angry-making if it turned out to all be true. I probably would have just rage quit and not even bothered to watch the last episode.
But fortunately, that's not the case. And what they have as proof is a video of Vala herself there to tell herself about the plan. Also, there's a moment where Daniel makes her take her gum out of her mouth on the video, and she just hands it to him, and that just grossed me out. Anyway.
That is gross, yeah. And then she licked her fingers that she'd been handling her gum with, and that also grossed me out.
Yeah, come on, Vala.
Yeah.
Worth noting in her explaining what's going on is that this whole plan was actually Vala's, period. So she's the one who's like, yes, let's mess with my memories and then go capture Adria. Won't that be fun?
Indeed. So she has no real reason to be angry at anybody since it was her plot.
No.
Rather than theirs.
Do you think they can they take the memories out again? I think they can, right? Will they? Do you think they would?
No, I don't remember. I was wondering that too. Is it going to be permanent, or is she going to be able to regain her memories of her coming up with this plot? Or does she just have this memory now of this thing that didn't happen and no memories of the part where she came up with it? I don't know. They're not going to address that.
No, they're not. They don't have time to address that in this episode.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
I did like the part, though. I don't remember why, but there was something to do with Dancing with the Stars that was brought up a couple times in this. And so when Vala was asking them about all of the different parts of the IOA, that wasn't real. And my escape, that wasn't real either. And then at one point she looks relieved and says, no television program about dancing with supposed celebrities. Daniel when Daniel says that part was real, she just looks into stares off into the distance. How very disturbing. It was hilarious. It was the best part of the
pretty
episode,
funny.
in my opinion, which is why I wanted to make sure we mentioned
Oh, yeah,
it.
definitely.
But yeah, that was that scene.
Yeah.
And then we're on Baal's mothership, and Adria is in her cage. A couple Jaffa come in, and Baal also comes in. Adria tells them all that they've made a terrible mistake, and if she lets them go, then she'll be merciful. Apparently, they've taken away the pendant thingy that she wears that makes her stronger, so Baal says that she's going to be so much more pleasant now that she doesn't have the ability to just snap his neck with her thoughts. They have a bit of posturing back and forth, trying to intimidate each other, neither one being successful. So Adria eventually says, if you intend to kill me, then you should know the Ori are never going to halt their attack on this galaxy, but Baal doesn't have a plan to kill her.
I'm going to kill you!
In fact, his entire plan hinges on her being alive. And Adria says that there's no way that she's ever going to work with him, despite what Baal is implying about him needing her to help him control the galaxy. But Baal says that she doesn't need to be willing to go along with that plan, because Baal flashes his Goa'uld eyes at her and reminds us that he's got ways that he can control anybody, including her.
Yeah. Haven't had enough flashy eyes the last few years.
We haven't.
You know?
No, there have been very few flashy
Yeah.
eyes.
I mean, I guess there are very few Goa'uld, but come on.
But even when Baal's been on it before, he hasn't flashed his glowy
He
eyes.
barely even uses Hagfish Cookie Monster voice. Come on.
Exactly.
God.
Like, his heart's not really even in being a Goa'uld anymore.
I know. Well, apparently.
Cookie.
Then we're back in the SGC where Agent Barrett, remember him, is there.
Who let you back in the house?
I thought that was hilarious. Do you think he still has a crush on Sam?
Probably.
She's single now.
Maybe?
Kind of maybe dating Jack? Who knows? Unknowable.
They never say. My headcanon is there, but that's just headcanon.
Yep.
Landry informs the team that Barrett has information about where Baal might be. He has an agent undercover in Baal's operation, and he's gotten a call. The clones are planning a meetup on P3R 112 today.
Convenient timing.
Indeed.
Oh, how convenient!
Barrett just got this information an hour ago. And he's pretty certain this information is very reliable. So they're going to go check that out. Take on Baal.
Indeed.
Get their Adria back.
And that's where they are in the next scene. They're on P3R 112, and everybody thinks that it's pretty quiet when such a big meeting is supposed to be happening. Mitchell takes a look down at the encampment that they've found, and it turns out everybody, Jaffa, everybody that we can see, is unconscious and or dead. So they go down and check it out. There's no sign of combat, so they think that it might be symbiote poison. And then they head into a tent, and it's a very weird scene of like 10 Baals all slumped over and dead. All of them with their eyes still open, which makes it that much more weird.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's why symbiote poison was used, because it killed everybody, including all of the Baals.
Oops.
Oops.
And we're back on Baal's ship at Adria's little prison. And someone walks into the room with some kind of tank. And Baal says the guest of honor. And what it is a squealing hagfish, which Adria is horrified to see. Uh-oh. Back outside, it turns out there's one Jaffa that didn't die.
He says he's not dead. Yes, he is. I'm not.
So, cool.
Good for him.
Yeah. SG1 promises they're not going to hurt him. Much. As Vala zats him. This guy, though, is on Tritonin, so he survived. Good for him.
Yeah.
Why are you on Tritonin and still working for Baal? What is your deal, bro?
He was a spy.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh. Did I not know that?
I mean, they implied it.
Oh, okay. I totally missed that.
Where does it say?
But yeah, that's about it for outside.
I don't know. I just assumed that he had it because he was maybe Agent Barrett's person that was in there or another spy of some sort. I thought they said it somewhere, but now I'm not actually seeing it in the notes here. But But yeah, that was my take on it, is that he was on Tritonin, but still there because he was spying on them and selling information or spying on behalf of someone else or something. Yeah. Back in the gate room, SG1 comes in and meets up with Landry. They have a lead. Once they woke up, the Jaffa friend was surprisingly forthcoming and confirmed that it was Baal Original, I'm guessing, that was behind all of the attacks that killed all of the clones.
I would guess.
Yeah.
Attack of the clones.
Yes.
Attack on the clones.
Attack on the clones. And obviously he had assembled them all together in order to kill them specifically. He had told them all he wanted to meet in order to discuss the situation with Adria, but then instead of joining them himself, he beamed in those symbiote poison canisters. So Baal didn't want any of his clones or anybody at all to know what he was planning next.
I wonder why.
Well, I think because what we're going to learn shortly about Adria being a hagfish, I'm thinking that he didn't want anybody to know that she was.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. I mean, he's still got Jaffa inside. Does he kill them all after he implants himself in Adria? Is that his plan?
Yeah, see, that's what I was confused about is, we haven't talked about it yet, but we'll get there in a minute. Baal is now in Adria, but he had pulled a hagfish out of a tank. So did he not have a hagfish at the time? Was it the empty host that was taking this hagfish and putting it in Adria?
That would be
that's
weird.
what didn't really make any sense to me. Or did he just have another cloned hagfish of himself, and that's what this was?
Maybe he left one clone alive, and the clone knew that the hagfish was him. I don't know. It really...
Yeah. It was confusing to me, but here
Agreed.
we are. So yeah, Baal didn't want any witnesses, though, to this whole thing with Adria becoming a Baal. But that Jaffa was able to give them the coordinates to where Baal's ship is located, so that's convenient, and they're going to all board the Odyssey, which is going to be leaving in an hour, to go try to intercept Baal's ship.
Woo! And then they're on the ship having a chat with the commander of the Odyssey, Davidson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Emerson better.
I know. God. Kill off everybody.
Seriously.
Davidson wants to know what their plan is for actually capturing. Actually, that's capturing. It's what you do when you're
capturing.
When you're doing behind the picture. You're capturing.
I was going to say, when you can't decide if you want to catch somebody or capture somebody, you capture them.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep.
Davidson would like to know what the plan is for capturing Adria. Mitchell says, same way they got her off the planet. Beam in, tag her, beam out. Quick and dirty. Davidson's like, but what about how big the ship is? How are you going to find her? Sam says that's actually going to be easy because they assume Baal has an anti-prior device so they can track that. And she doesn't have her powers, presumably.
I think she still has powers even without her necklace thingy, but they're just not nearly as strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, not if he's got the device on.
Davidson's like, but what if he just raises the shields, guys? And they're like, yeah, that's a good point. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Everybody leaves except for Mitchell and Vala. Mitchell tells Vala she is welcome to sit this one out if she'd like, given that it's Adria and all. That if she resists, they might need to take action, and Vala says she's okay with that. Is she? Sure.
She doesn't say it very convincingly.
No. But Mitchell's like, all right, that's fine. And that's the end of that.
Indeed. Then we're on the bridge of the Odyssey. Vala, Sam, Teal'c, and Daniel are all there.
And you were there.
Mitchell says, I take it we're cloaked because they're flying right over Baal's ship. Of course they're cloaked. I thought that was a weird thing to be asking now. But yes, they are cloaked. And they have managed to do a scan of the ship. And yep, there is evidence that there is an anti-prior device active on one particular part of the ship. So they're going to beam in. And then they do beam in. There is conveniently nobody there where they beam in. So they're able to do a little bit of sneaking down this hallway. And they've beamed in very close to where Adria is being kept, apparently. They watch from a mirror around the corner that Mitchell is holding. And they can see that there's just 2 guards out there that Mitchell signals to them. In the room with Ball and Adria, Ball tells her not to worry because it's all going to be over soon. And then there's weapons fire. SG1 takes out the guards that are out in the hall, and then they come bursting into the room where Ball and Adria are. And they shoot Ball many times, so now he's dead.
Yep.
And of course, they leave Adria alive, but they do stun her with a Zat gun.
This was wild to just be like unceremoniously kill off Ball.
Yep. I mean, he still manages to come back a few times
does.
anyway. I was thinking the same thing. Like, it's been all this lead up, and you've had all of these clones, and no matter what they do, they can't kill off Ball, and then all of a sudden, Ball kills all his clones, and then they manage to just shoot him with regular bullets.
What? Why?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. 2 more Jaffa come running in, but of course, they managed to take all of them out. And they put the tracking device on Adria as they had discussed, and everybody is beamed off.
Woo. They strap Adria down to a chair in the Odyssey. I'm assuming some sort of interrogation room or something. Mitchell comes in and tells her to wake up. The rest of the team comes in. Vala tells Adria it's over, but she has hagfish voice.
Oh no!
You're mistaken. Adria is no longer here. Cookie. Cookie.
What a lovely singing voice you must have.
I liked that she was using hagfish voice because, as you mentioned before, I've been kind of sad that we haven't had a whole lot of good hagfish voice.
Yeah, and she flashy eyes.
She does flashy eyes.
Yeah. So we've got
bringing back all the classics.
Badria or Baldria.
Yeah, I like both of these. I was thinking Hagdria, but yeah, that was before we knew that this was Ball.
That's true.
That I was thinking Hagdria, so I like your portmanteaus better.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big surprise for them. Oops.
I don't know which one I like better. I think I like Badria better.
Yeah, I think Badria.
Yeah.
Badria.
Yes, even better. There we go.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
SG1 gets on the horn to Landry to let him know that Ball is in Adria. And they have a Adria. Mitchell calls it the bad guy equivalent of cordon bleu. Which was silly.
Indeed. Now I kind of want some, though.
That would be tasty.
It is tasty.
Sam says it makes sense from Ball's perspective. He gets a more powerful host, and he gets to be in control of the Ori army. Daniel says their goals are not all that different, so it shouldn't be that hard for him. Control of the galaxy, worshipped by millions, Sam adds. Mitchell adds if the Ori are really dead, he'll never be held responsible by them for his actions.
Yeah.
Landry asks what they do. Teal'c is like, kill them both. Which, yes, Teal'c.
Of course, that would be his answer.
Mitchell agrees, though. Sam says, though, they can't guarantee that the Ori army will ever stop, even if Adria is dead. So they would need her to order them to stand down.
If the Ori are all dead, though, and only Adria is alive, are the Ori army still going to want to fight?
The Priors are still around, aren't they?
I don't know. Would the Priors still be alive, or would the Priors all lose their power if the Ori were all dead?
These are good questions, again, that we will not find answers to in the show.
We sure won't. Sigh.
Yeah. Sam says that they need Adria to stand down her army before they up and kill her or whatever. Mitchell wants to know how they do that, and Sam's like, well, if Ball can suppress Adria's consciousness, we could do that too. With the Tok'ra's help. The Tok'ra!
The Tok'ra! I'd almost forgotten about them.
For honestly, half the time I think they're all dead, and then they suddenly appear, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're still around.
Yep.
Somehow.
And it confirms the worst. Somehow.
And somehow they just happened to have a hagfish at the ready.
They happen to have a
despite
hagfish.
The fact that they have a shortage of hagfishes.
Vala very rightly points out, isn't this against their fundamental beliefs? Their exact difference between them and the Goa'uld is that they don't force themselves on people. But Daniel's like, they'll probably make an exception in this case, which they will.
Of course, conveniently.
Which on the one hand, yes, they are going against their beliefs. On the other hand, Adria and Ball will completely destroy the entire galaxy. So
this is true.
I don't know.
This is true.
So
would this hagfish stay in her permanently, do you think? Or would the hagfish then go on to a new host after giving the command to stand down.
I think if the Tok'ra want to maintain any sense of their fundamental beliefs, they would get the hell out of her as soon as they could.
Yeah.
But who knows? So they're going to give a call to the Tok'ra and see what they can do to help in this situation with a hagfish.
Yes, indeed.
Conveniently.
Next, we are back with Mitchell and Teal'c and Adria. Adria asks if they've figured out what to do with her, and Mitchell says that they're still weighing their options. Adria says, I can imagine. Teal'c says, no, you cannot. She warns them against doing anything that would be too stupid because the best course of action would just be to release her, and yeah, that's going to happen. Her whole plan, she says, was to order the Ori army back out of this galaxy anyway, so that would get rid of them forever and basically just part ways, she says her plan is, which I'm sure nobody, and also this being Adria and Ball, their plan, what their plan is. But of course, we already know that Ball's a big fat liar, so nobody is convinced that this was actually Ba'adria's plan. Mitchell tells Ba'adria about their plan for bringing in the big guns known as the Tok'ra. But Ba'adria is not convinced that a Tok'ra would be able to suppress Adria's consciousness as well as the Ball hagfish can. So that's just a risk that they are willing to take, though.
He also threatens to kill Adria as they're trying to take him out.
He does, yes. That is also worth mentioning. And also trying to convince them that Ba'adria has all kinds of helpful information that they can share. They tell SG1 that the Ori are all dead, confirming what they were already hoping, and reminds them how well they worked together to locate the Sangral in the first place. But Teal'c says that Ball's efforts were not particularly helpful anyway, which they weren't, because he lied and said that he had some password thing that he, of course, did not have. So, Ba'adria says that it's, of course, their decision, but the options really only seem to be to work with them, meaning Adria and Ball together, or to kill them both and miss out on everything that they have to offer.
And then the Tok'ra arrive.
Yeah. I was interested to see if there was anybody here that we know, and there was
not. They brought their stuff. It's the person performing the surgery is Tassim, and he brought his assistant's cookie.
He does use Tok'ra voice.
He does.
Also Cookie Monster voice, because the voice is not any different for a Tok'ra or a Goa'uld.
Tassim knew Vala as Katesh for the 5 minutes she was Katesh.
Yes.
Vala says things have changed a little since then. Tassim tells them that the procedure they're going to do is extremely difficult, that even though they've refined the process, there's a real risk that Adria will die, which I thought was strange. Haven't they extracted hagfish successfully before? It didn't seem like it was that dangerous.
Yes.
So what's this about?
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's got to up the stakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Plot device is what I'm thinking that's all about.
Yeah, because they took the one out of Vala, first of all.
Yeah.
And Skara. That went fine. I don't know.
Nothing but the host survives.
I guess they don't tell us about all the ones that die. I don't know.
I guess.
Daniel points out the only other option they have is to leave Ball in there and trust him, so they're going to have to do this. Yeah. And they're going to work on putting Xanuf inside this new host and taking Ball out. So they head off to do that.
They do. We get a very quick scene where Mitchell, Daniel, and Teal'c go in to tell Ba'adria that it is time for the surgery, and they zat him. Her. Them.
Has it been enough time that it doesn't kill her?
I was wondering that too. I was like, I guess it's been long enough. Because Adria's been zatted twice now in this episode. But apparently, yes, it's been long enough. Next, we're in the operating room. Sam is there assisting for reasons, even though she does not have a medical degree to our knowledge. And in fact, she's the one that is tracking Adria's vitals? Ball's vitals? Whoever we want to say this is. So that made very little sense to me.
She does have a background in hard science.
I know. Is she acting as the anesthesiologist? Because that's what she seems to be doing. And I thought that this was just so very weird.
It's a little bit strange.
Yeah, so very. But yes, her background in hard science suits her perfectly to any division of science.
Yeah.
So they get started with the procedure. Meanwhile, in the briefing room, Teal'c, Vala, and Mitchell are all there watching. Vala, though, leaves the room because she's having a bit more trouble with this than she wants to admit. I think I forgot to mention that Daniel was in there too.
Ow.
So he leaves and follows her to check in, asks if she's okay, and of course she's just still not really talking about how it's affecting her. She says she just didn't feel like sticking around for the surgery, that's all. It's just a weak stomach, that's it. She doesn't understand why everybody keeps asking if she's okay, and Daniel mentions it's because Adria was your daughter. No matter what she's done, it's got to be difficult. But Vala once again says, nope, not my daughter. The Ori impregnated me against my will, and that I was just an incubator and a shipping crate, and that's it. Adria is nothing to me. All she's going to feel is satisfaction that their plan failed if Adria dies.
Yeah. Sure, Vala.
Yeah. Still not very convincing.
Gotta be a double whammy, too, like, because she's not only watching this procedure happen to her daughter, but also she's been through some kind of similar procedure herself. So, yeah. I don't know. A lot of traumatic things happening for Vala right now.
Indeed, but she's not going to talk about it, so we won't know.
The surgery continues. Tassim has severed the primary nerve conduit. Yay. But uh-oh, something happens. Mitchell and Teal'c catch up with Vala and Daniel to let them know trouble with the surgery, so they all rush off to the operating room.
What are they going to do?
Moral support? I don't know. Make sure Sam is cool. Does she need help with the anesthesia?
It made no sense to me. It's like, where are you going?
But yeah, but it's fine because by the time they get there, it's all over.
Yeah.
They extracted Ball from Adria, but he had managed to release his deadly hagfish toxin into Adria before they could do that.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
They can't put the Tok'ra inside because the host body is too weak, so nobody can heal her, so she's just gonna die. She's unconscious, Tassim reports right now, but she's going to wake up, and when she does, she's gonna suffer greatly, then die. So maybe what they could do is increase the dosage of the toxin and just let her go. Save her that pain.
Yeah.
Mitchell is the decider, so he's like, do it.
Do it.
He looks at Vala for confirmation
He
first,
does,
though.
That's true.
Seems like they're leaving it actually up to Vala.
Yeah, that's true.
Vala did nod her head.
And she says she'd like to be there, so she's going to do that.
So then we're in the infirmary. And Tassim is getting ready to inject her with whatever the toxin is that they have conveniently ready. And just as he's about to inject the toxin into her IV, Adria's eyes open. And of course, she then throws everybody at the walls and closes all the doors. And so now she is locked in the infirmary here alone with Vala.
I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Mitchell was apparently watching this in the briefing room again over video, so he gets up and starts running as Adria continues to throw more guards. I guess she doesn't have the doors shut yet, but she will. By the time that all of the rest of SG1 gets there, all of the doors are shut, and they try to push them open manually, but of course, that's not going to work. Adria is enraged that Vala and her friends were trying to kill Adria, and she's not going to let that happen. Davidson radios down to SG1 just outside and asks what's going on. He's getting reports that all sections around the infirmary are being sealed off, so they tell him that it's Adria. She's barricaded herself in and asks if it's possible to beam SG1 directly in there, but no, she's also generating some kind of EM interference conveniently, so that's not going to happen. They're going to try to cut their way in instead, Mitchell says.
Woohoo. Why didn't they have the Adria dampening device going?
I was wondering that too. An excellent question.
Seems like a
that there seems to be no answer for. Right, exactly.
That they might want to take.
Yep. That would have made sense. But here we are.
Yes. Inside the infirmary, Adria is not looking great. She doesn't have any strength. Vala tells her to quit acting, that she's not really sick, but Adria says no, the body is really dying. And I'm going to use what time I have left as wisely as possible. Not by killing Vala. She says, if I wanted to kill you, Mother, I could have done it a long time ago. She needs to prepare for ascension. Yay!
Woo!
0.03 hertz. I mean, I did it. I mean, I was in the zone. I could have actually ascended.
Outside, Daniel is banging on the door, yelling for Vala. We also see that Mitchell is trying to cut his way through the door. Daniel and Teal'c are radioing to one another. Daniel lets them know he's outside the infirmary and that Adria is locked in with Vala. Teal'c lets him know they also are blocked and are trying to cut through. Daniel says hurry because he thinks he knows what Adria is going to do. She's gonna ascend. Uh-oh.
Mitchell takes off his goggles.
Yes, he does.
To dramatically react to this. I was like, oh no, now Mitchell's blind too, to make everything even worse.
Sometimes the only reaction you can have is to blind yourself.
Yeah, sometimes this is true.
Isn't that what,
That's what Oedipus did.
Exactly.
This is not at all an Oedipal situation,
No,
but apparently that's still what Mitchell decides to do.
I'm always thinking that Mitchell and Oedipus are very similar.
Yes, absolutely. Inside the infirmary, Vala tells Adria that she doesn't have to do this. And Adria says it wasn't part of her plan, but she can accomplish a ton. Maybe even more as an ascended being than she ever could have in her dumb little human body. Vala asks her what that will be, though, more deaths and enslavement, but Adria has no compassion for Vala to try to play to, and reminds Vala that she's even said on multiple occasions that Adria is not her daughter, so she's really not going to be swayed by anything Vala has to say. Outside, Mitchell has thankfully put his goggles back on and then finished removing a section of the door, but they're still not actually able to get all the way into the infirmary for reasons. Apparently, Sam has been trying to override the whole system to get them in there, but it's not actually doing any good because Adria's not controlling the control systems. She's just holding the doors shut with her mind.
Your mind makes it real.
So they're not going to be able to get into the infirmary because there's a second door, I guess, between them and it, and cutting through that's going to take too long. Adria tells Vala her friends are determined. So Adria keeps concentrating as Teal'c and Mitchell are trying to now pry open the doors with crowbars, since cutting through is going to take too long. Meanwhile, wherever Daniel is, coolant starts leaking down on him, and it's toxic. So that's not great for Daniel either, and he's also locked in where he is, so that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Sam is going to try to reroute that coolant to at least help Daniel, even though there's not a whole lot she can do to get him out of there. Maybe she can at least stop the toxic coolant from spraying into his face. Daniel tries to yell through to Vala that she really needs to open the door for him if she can. Vala can hear him, but can't do anything from where she is, other than trying to get Adria to stop it and pleading with her. So she tries to take advantage of the moment, maybe catch Adria off guard, picks up a gun, and tries to shoot Adria, but Adria catches her before she can, and does the whole Sith chokehold thing, Vader style, on Vala, picking her up, strangling her with her mind.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Sam does manage to get the coolant stopped so that that's not blowing down on Daniel anymore. And Adria, inside the infirmary, tells Vala that she'd always wondered if she had it in her to kill her, and then says goodbye. Vala falls to the floor, all the doors open, and inside the infirmary, we don't actually see what's happening with Adria, but we do see Vala staring into the center of the room, and Vala is all lit up as though there's a bright light in front of her, so we know what's happening.
Yeah.
Mitchell and Teal'c catch up with Daniel. He's doing okay. They manage to get their way into the infirmary and ask why the bed is empty, and Vala tells them that she's gone.
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
Then we're in the SGC, in the briefing room. The team is letting Landry know what happened. She ascended. Landry wants to know what that means for us, and Daniel's like, I don't know. Maybe she's joined other Ori if they still exist, but if Ball's right, she's the only one and she has all the Ori power. And Sam's like, either way, we might see some incarnation of her down the road. I wonder when that will be. Holding a serious grudge, Mitchell adds. Teal'c's like, at least Ball is dead, and we may take comfort in that. Mitchell, though, is like, but we don't know that. There could be other clones. Mitchell indeed killed another clone on Ball's ship while they were breaking Adria out, so there might be more Balls out there. Yay! Maybe we'll see him again.
I wonder why they didn't show the extra Ball that they took out on their way in.
I don't know. He could have been referring to the one that was standing in the room with her, but I don't know.
Oh, maybe? I had just assumed that was the original.
But it could be other Balls.
Ball.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we already talked about the fact that it was weird that this Ball was somehow holding his own hagfish to put in her, but yeah, maybe it was a clone.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if this was his own hagfish, and this is then just the host acting, why would the host go along with this?
Yeah. And how old is that poor man? I mean, I think we saw that when Apophis died, that his host did not last
very
long.
rapidly. Yeah.
But anyway, Landry's like,
okay.
Anyway. Yeah. Landry's like, we captured and killed both Adria and Ball on the same day, and it was all a wash. And Balla says, no, we dealt the Ori a serious blow, and we got rid of Adria for now. So that's something. Right? End of episode.
End of episode. Kathy, did you like the episode?
I mean, it was entertaining. It kept my attention, but I think it's because it was so packed full of stuff.
Yeah.
That there wasn't room to be like, well, I'm bored of this.
Yes.
But I also feel like it would have been interesting if they had the time to like have Adria be around for a while being evil. But they didn't have the time for that, so they killed them both off in this episode, but not really. Yep. So it was weird, but I was entertained. We got a little bit of a look at all the people who have been in the show over the years. Let's bring some of them back. The Tok'ra, Barrett. Sounds great. But we can't do anything else because this show is over.
Yep.
It also made me wonder what the hell the last episode is. I know I've seen it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't either.
Like, this is wrapped up for now. So what is the next episode? How about you?
Yeah, I was actually wondering the same thing. Like, what does this leave us with for the last episode? But who knows? Yeah, it was mostly enjoyable, but it was a little bit unsatisfying how quickly they had to tie up loose ends here.
Yeah.
So the fact that we never saw the Ori die and they're just like, yeah, it's confirmed they're all dead. And the fact that they took out all of the Balls so quickly, like we were talking about before, which, I mean, I know we still can't necessarily trust that they're all gone, but it just did feel like a little bit of an unsatisfying, very rapid tie-up of loose ends, which I know they didn't really have much of a choice, but yeah, it was an interesting episode. It just was also a little disappointing in that way, I think. But overall, I enjoyed it.
What are we going to talk about next?
Next is Stargate Atlantis Season 3, Episode 19, Vengeance. The Atlantis team investigates the disappearance of one of their allies only to find an old enemy engineering a race of powerful monsters.
Okay.
That is TVDB. And over on IMDb, after losing contact with the new Terranian, parentheses, the people rescued by the Atlantis team when a supervolcano threatened to destroy their planet, end parentheses, settlement, Shepard's team leaves to investigate. Finding the town deserted, they move to investigate an extensive subterranean tunnel system. What they find there holds dark tidings for the entire Pegasus galaxy.
Dark tidings.
Dark tidings.
They have so many enemies. It could be anyone.
They do. Yep. This is very true. It really could. Yeah. Except that the thumbnail shows us Michael. So.
Okay. Well, always enjoy a Connor Trenier visit.
Indeed. Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
Oh, this is where that is. Okay. I was looking ahead at the next episode, and I was like, I know that at some point there's an episode that I really dislike coming up, and apparently it's the last episode of SG1. That is the one I've been thinking of, is the one that I really don't like.
No!
Yep. So, as Jeff would say, it goes out like a wet fart, as I recall.
Great.
Yep. Ends like a wet fart. Good times.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you so much for listening to Stargazing with Kathy and Mary. Our fully listener-supported program couldn't be done without you. Show your support by telling everyone you know how awesome this show is. Find us at stargazing.space. Reach us by email, stargazing@gmail.com. Find us on social media at Blue Sky. Get some merch, tinyurl/stargazing. And finally, show your financial support at patreon.com/stargazing. Thank you for traveling through the gate with us. Catch you next time on Stargazing with Kathy and Mary.
I'm Kathy.
I'm Mary.
And you've been listening to Stargazing. The end.
The end.
They strap Adria. Oh my God. They strap Adria down. Oh, I said it again.
It's all right. We can just change how her name is pronounced at this point.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right at the end here.